Hey there, English learners. Welcome back to Learning English Through Bible podcast. I'm so excited you're here today because we're diving into one of the most powerful and dramatic Psalms in the entire Bible, Psalm 2. This isn't just any ordinary chapter. It's like watching an epic movie unfold right before your eyes. We've got rebellious nations, angry kings, divine laughter, and ultimate victory all packed into just 12 verses. And here's the amazing part. While we're exploring this incredible story, you're going to pick up some fantastic English vocabulary and expressions that you can use in everyday conversations, from phrases like waste their time to act wisely. This psalm is loaded with practical English that native speakers use all the time. So grab your notebook, get comfortable, and let's discover how this ancient text can boost your English skills while teaching us some profound truths about life, authority, and finding real peace in a chaotic world. Trust me, by the end of this episode, you'll have learned so much more than just new words. You'll have experienced a story that has captivated people for thousands of years. The psalm opens with a question that hits like a thunderbolt. Why are the nations so angry? Why do they waste their time with futile plans? Can you feel the intensity in those words? The psalmist isn't just asking casually, he's genuinely puzzled by what he's witnessing. Notice how we use waste their time in English. It's such a common expression that means to spend time on something pointless or unproductive. You might say, don't waste your time arguing with him, or I wasted my time watching that boring movie. The word futile is more formal and means completely useless or ineffective. It's like when you try to fix something that's completely broken, your efforts are futile. The picture here is of nations getting worked up and making elaborate plans that will ultimately lead nowhere. It's like watching someone try to build a sandcastle during high tide. Lots of energy, but the waves will wash it all away. Have you ever found yourself getting angry about things you can't control? That's exactly what's happening here on a global scale. Now the drama intensifies as we see exactly what these angry nations are doing. The kings of the earth prepare for battle. The rulers plot together against the Lord and against His anointed one. The word plot is fascinating in English because it can mean the storyline of a movie or book, but it can also mean to secretly plan something, usually something bad. When we say they're plotting against someone, we mean they're scheming or conspiring. You'll hear this in movies all the time. The villains are plotting to take over the city. Notice how the psalm shows us a united front of earthly powers. These aren't just random troublemakers. These are the most powerful people on earth, kings and rulers all joining forces. They're not fighting each other. They're united in their rebellion against God. It's like all the world's superpowers suddenly deciding to work together, but for the wrong reasons. The phrase "prepare for battle" gives us a sense of serious, organized resistance. This isn't a spontaneous uprising. It's a calculated, strategic rebellion. Listen to what these rebellious leaders are saying. Let us break their chains, they cry, and free ourselves from slavery to God. This is where English gets really interesting. The verb cry here doesn't mean weeping with tears, it means to shout or call out loudly. We use this in expressions like cry out for help or cry out in pain. It's about making your voice heard, usually with strong emotion. The metaphor of chains and slavery is powerful imagery that these leaders are using to describe their relationship with God. They see God's authority as restrictive, like being tied up or enslaved. But here's the irony that English speakers love. They're calling freedom what is actually rebellion, and calling guidance what they see as oppression. We do this in English all the time with phrases like break free from or throw off the chains of. These leaders think they're liberating themselves, but the psalm is about to show us a very different perspective. Have you ever felt like rules were holding you back, only to discover later that they were actually protecting you? And now comes one of the most striking verses in the entire Bible. But the one who rules in heaven laughs, the Lord scoffs at them. Wow, can you imagine that scene? While all these powerful earthly rulers are getting worked up, making battle plans, and declaring their independence, God's response is laughter. But this isn't happy, joyful laughter. This is the laughter of someone who sees the complete absurdity of the situation. The word scoffs means to show contempt or derision, like when someone rolls their eyes and makes a dismissive sound. You might scoff at a ridiculous suggestion or scoff at someone's unrealistic plans. It's that seriously kind of reaction. Think about it from God's perspective. It's like watching ants declare war against a mountain. The contrast is so enormous that it becomes almost comical. These earthly powers think they're so mighty and important, but from heaven's viewpoint, their rebellion is like children playing dress-up and pretending to be. This divine laughter isn't cruel. It's the natural response to something that's completely out of proportion. But the laughter quickly turns serious. Then in anger he rebukes them, terrifying them with his fierce fury. The word rebuke is a strong English term that means to criticize sharply or to express disapproval. It's more intense than just correcting someone. It carries the weight of authority and justified anger. A parent might rebuke a child for dangerous behavior, or a judge might rebuke someone in court. The phrase fierce fury uses alliteration, two words starting with the same sound, which makes it more memorable and impactful. We see this technique often in English: fast and furious, safe and sound, tried and true. The word terrifying is particularly powerful because it suggests that God's response isn't just scary, it's absolutely overwhelming. These rulers who were so confident and bold just moments ago are now filled with terror. It's like the difference between a child being brave in the daylight and then hearing strange noises in the dark. The reality of who they're dealing with suddenly becomes crystal clear, and their previous confidence completely evaporates. Now God makes his declaration, for the Lord declares, I have placed my chosen king on the throne in Jerusalem, on my holy mountain. The word declares is more formal and official than just says. When someone declares something, they're making an official announcement or statement. We use this in phrases like declare war, declare independence, or declare victory. It carries the weight of authority and finality. Notice the specific location mentioned, Jerusalem, on God's holy mountain. This isn't some vague spiritual concept. It's a real place with real significance. The word chosen emphasizes that this isn't just any king. This is God's specially selected ruler. In English, we use chosen to indicate something that's been carefully picked out. The chosen one, chosen for greatness, or chosen representative. The image here is of God establishing his own government, his own kingdom, with his own king, right in the heart of the earthly realm. While the nations are plotting and rebelling, God is calmly establishing his permanent solution. It's like watching people argue about who should be the captain while the real captain is already steering the ship. The chosen king now speaks, and his words are incredible. The king proclaims the Lord's decree. The Lord said to me, You are my son. Today I have become your father. The word proclaims is similar to declares, but has a sense of making something widely known. When someone proclaims something, they're announcing it publicly and boldly. Think of a town crier proclaiming news in the village square. A decree is an official order or decision, especially from someone in authority. Kings issue decrees, judges issue decrees, and governments issue decrees. The relationship described here is extraordinary. This king isn't just appointed by God. He's declared to be God's son. The phrase, Today I have become your father, suggests a specific moment of recognition or establishment. In English, We understand this kind of formal adoption or acknowledgement like when someone officially becomes a citizen or when someone is formally installed in a position. This isn't about biology. It's about relationship, authority, and inheritance. The timing word today makes it immediate and present, not something from the distant past or future. The promise that follows is breathtaking. Only ask, and I will give you the nations as your inheritance, the whole earth as your possession. The phrase "only ask" is beautifully simple in English. It means that's all that's required. We use this construction in phrases like only believe, only try, or only wait. It emphasizes how easy something is compared to what you might expect. The word inheritance refers to what you receive from a family member, usually when they die. But here it's used to show the relationship between God and His chosen king. The nations aren't conquered territory. They're a family gift. The word possession is stronger than just ownership. It implies complete control and authority. When something is your possession, you have the right to do whatever you want with it. The scope is enormous. Not just a city, not just a country, but the nations and the whole earth. While earthly rulers fight over small territories and temporary power, God's chosen king is offered everything. It's like being offered the entire chessboard when others are fighting over individual pieces. But then comes a warning about what will happen to those who continue in rebellion. You will break them with an iron rod and smash them like clay pots. The imagery here is powerful and unmistakable. An iron rod represents strength and authority, something that can't be bent or broken. When we say someone rules with an iron fist or has an iron will, we're talking about unwavering, uncompromising strength. The verb smash is forceful and final. It doesn't mean to gently break or carefully separate. It means to completely destroy. Clay pots are fragile, easily broken vessels. The contrast is striking. Iron versus clay, permanent versus fragile, strong versus weak. This isn't a threat made in anger. It's a simple statement of fact about what happens when something fragile meets something unbreakable. In English, we have many expressions about this kind of mismatch, like a bull in a china shop bringing a knife to a gunfight, or David versus Goliath, though in this case, God's chosen king is the giant. The message is clear. Continued rebellion isn't just unwise, it's ultimately destructive. Recognizing the seriousness of the situation, the psalm offers wisdom to those in power. Now then, you kings, act wisely. Be warned, you rulers of the earth. The phrase "now then" is a transition that means given this information or in light of what you've just heard. It's like saying "so" or "therefore." It connects what came before with what's coming next. Act wisely means to behave intelligently, to make smart choices based on the facts. In English, we often contrast acting wisely with acting foolishly or impulsively. The phrase "be warned" is a gentle but serious caution. It's not a threat. It's helpful advice, like when someone warns you about a pothole in the road or thin ice on a lake. The repetition of addressing both kings and rulers emphasizes that this message is for everyone in positions of authority and power. This isn't about regular citizens. This is specifically directed at those who make decisions that affect others. The tone has shifted from describing God's power to offering a way out, a chance to choose differently. It's like a lifeguard warning swimmers about dangerous currents. The warning comes from concern, not anger. The psalm concludes with both an instruction and a promise. Serve the Lord with reverent fear and rejoice with trembling. Submit to God's royal Son, or He will become angry, and you will be destroyed in the midst of all your activities, for His anger flares up in an instant. But what joy for all who take refuge in Him. Notice how serve is presented as the wise choice, not as something negative. The phrase "reverent fear" combines respect and awe. It's not terror, but the kind of healthy respect you'd have for something powerful and important. Rejoice with trembling is a fascinating combination in English. Joy mixed with awe, celebration combined with deep respect. It's like being invited to a royal banquet. You're happy to be there, but you're also very aware of where you are and who you're with. The word submit means to accept authority willingly, to place yourself under someone else's leadership. The alternative is painted clearly: destruction in the midst of all your activities. The phrase flares up describes how quickly anger can appear, like a sudden fire, but then comes the beautiful ending. What joy for all who take refuge in Him. The word refuge means a safe place, a shelter from danger. In English, we talk about taking refuge from a storm, finding refuge in difficult times, or offering refuge to those in need. This isn't about fear or control. It's about finding safety, protection, and ultimately, joy. The psalm that began with angry nations ends with the promise of joy for those who make the right choice. So what can we learn from Psalm 2 as English learners and as people navigating life's challenges? This ancient text gives us incredible vocabulary for talking about authority, rebellion, wisdom, and relationships. Words like futile, scoff, proclaim, and refuge are part of sophisticated English that will serve you well in academic and professional settings. But more than that, this psalm teaches us about perspective, how things look different depending on where you're standing. The nations see rebellion as freedom, but God sees it as futile. The kings see God's authority as chains, but the psalm presents it as protection. As you continue learning English, remember that language isn't just about grammar and vocabulary. It's about seeing the world from different viewpoints and being able to express complex ideas clearly and powerfully. Keep practicing, keep learning, and remember that every new word you master is another tool for understanding and expressing the incredible complexity and beauty of human experience. Until next time, keep growing in both your English skills and your understanding of these timeless truths.